Hello, welcome back. Clint the audio guy here again with another product to show you. This time it is the Totem Acoustic from the Totem Acoustic Element series. This is the Element Earth. This is the smaller of the two towers in the series. This is, I just went to the Consumer Electronics Show in Vegas in January, and we listened to everything. That's one of the benefits of being in this business. You get to hear a lot of great product. And we heard $500,000 systems, we heard $200,000 systems, a lot of $200,000 systems. But we also heard the Totem system. These coming in at $9,000 a pair are a phenomenal buy. They sound expensive when you say, oh, a $9,000 pair of speakers. Well, that's kind of expensive. But when you compare them to anything else in that price range, it's a bargain. So, and I'll tell you a little bit why that is. These were developed by Vince Bruzzese of Totem Acoustic, of course, the designer there, using their new Torrent driver technology. Now, I've got a small version here. This is a little 4-inch woofer, but this thing is heavy. This thing's like 7.5 pounds, some crazy thing like that, and you don't want to get this magnet near any sensitive devices because it's a fiercely strong magnet. Now, we take this technology, it's all machine chassis design, very heavy duty, very overbuilt, and about the most expensive drivers of its type I've ever seen, just because of the materials and the man hours required to produce this, and the expense of the magnet material. But we take this and we take it up another 5 notches or so to this kind of driver. You'll see these in the Tribe series, in the Tribe 3s and the Tribe 5s, which is a fantastic on-wall speaker system, really amazing speaker system. This is their 7-inch driver that they developed for the Element series, for the Earth and then the Metal. The Metal is their top tower, the flagship tower. Now, this driver uses a completely different magnetic structure. It's, I forget how many, but I think it's like 17 claw-shaped magnets that all have to be placed very precisely, and they get a really high magnetic flux in the voice coil gap. So, very strong response. It's really well. The woofer is really well controlled. A couple unique things here, though. The woofer is the first design I've ever heard of. The woofer does not use any crossover components on it, so it gets full range signal. So that gives you the absolute most purity you can get out of your sound. There's nothing in the signal path. It mechanically rolls off to the tweeter. The tweeter, of course, has to be filtered for bass. The bass has to be filtered out of it, or otherwise the tweeter would just blow. So they're using, of course, really high-end components. That's one place that Totem never skimps on. Even their least expensive designs, they're always using really high-end components in the crossover. That's a place where a lot of other companies will cheap out on because you don't see it. Like, oh, we can save some cost here because nobody will know the difference anyway. Well, Totem thinks you will know a difference, and you'll hear it with your ears. And they're right, because when you hear them, you can't believe it. So anyway, they come in 2 finishes. You get the polyester gloss finishes, 4-coat process. We have the piano white and the piano black. It's not an upcharge in this series because they only come in the gloss finishes, so that's as standard. The difference between the Earth, which this is the Earth, and the Metal is the Metal's a bit taller. The Metal uses 2 of the Torrent drivers, whereas the Earth, this one, uses 1 Torrent woofer, and then this is a passive radiator. So that's a weight in the center there, and that's a passive radiator. The speaker is the sensitivity. This is an 8-ohm speaker. The sensitivity is 88 dB, which is pretty good. They recommend power between 50 to 200 watts. I recommend 200 watts if you can do it or more. Better to have that headroom and have more control over the speaker, in my opinion. With tube amps, you can get away with a bit lower power out of them, but in any case, you want an amp with good current carrying capability. You don't want to put these with the receiver. I mean, there's no point in doing that. A $9,000 speaker deserves a good quality amplifier, and will reward you for having it. Bass response down to the -3 dB point, I believe it's 31 hertz, so good strong bass response out of them. You don't need a subwoofer, but you could certainly add one if you really wanted to get some deep bass extension out of it. And they play plenty loud too. The Element series in general, unlike some of the smaller two-way towers they have, is really designed to fill a big space, to do home theaters, to do bigger dynamics, to really rock out a bit more, you know. So they'll certainly do it. The woofer, actually, these have a 1-inch throw, 1-inch X-Max, which, you know, that's like subwoofer throw, and that's like 10 or 12-inch subwoofer kind of throw. So this does it on a 7-inch woofer, so that's a lot of extension. So one 7-inch woofer can really move a lot of air if you really calculate it out when you figure in the throw. And the free air resonance on these is low. I don't remember offhand exactly, but it's like 17 hertz or 16 hertz, something like that. So it never gets flustered in the bass regions. That's in part to that overbuilt construction and that massive motor structure on there. In the back, they feature these machined aluminum port tubes. They've got machined aluminum terminal plates, and they have the really high end, really the highest end terminals I know of, the WBT Platinum binding posts, and they are bi-wireable or bi-ampable as well. On the bottom, they use these machined aluminum feet here, and they actually have a little rubber ball that goes under there to sort of decouple them from the floor. On the front of the speaker, they use a version of their claw feet that actually has an adjustment for height, so you can adjust the tilt on the speaker. And the whole cabinet has an angled construction, almost looks like an obelisk here, but there's no parallel surfaces in the cabinet. It's all lock mitered together, so it's going to be good for years and years to come. With temperature changes, humidity changes, and all that, they design their products to last a long time. So it's a very, very inert structure to build a sound producing machine out of. So if you want to hear these, as usual, feel free to stop by Xtend Technologies in Northeast Ohio. We have them on display here. So my name's Clint. Just let me know you saw me on YouTube, and I'll be glad to play these for me. I love to talk audio. So, all right. Well, thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.